So the default link colors are not very attractive. I think they're like blue, visited is purple, active is red. So what we're going to do is do some styling for link colors. So let's open up the 1950s trivia. And I think I have that open over here. So let me show you. Okay, so these are the defaults. So that's visited, that's the regular. You probably noticed it turned red when I clicked on it. So these default link colors do not go with our color scheme whatsoever. So we are going to change them. So what we're going to do is add to our internal style sheet up at the top, so right above our closing style. What we are doing is we are applying styling to the anchor. And because the anchor has 4 different states, we are using a pseudo class. So link, visited, hover, and active, the 4 states are pseudo classes. So the way you code those is you have your A, which is your selector, a colon, followed by the state. And with links, they have to be in a particular order. Link and visited have to be first. And then after link and visited, you can have hover. And after hover, you have active. Now, whether you code visited before link, it doesn't matter. Okay, but link and visited need to be at the top, followed by hover, followed by active. So we've got a colon link. We still need our curly braces. And the CSS is the same. So color is going to be the actual color of the text. And we're going to use dark green. And text decoration is typically set to underline for a link. Okay, so text decoration, people usually have underline or none. That's what is pretty normal because that typically is used in link styling. So we've got a colon link, and then we've got a colon visited. These have to be first. And for visited, you're going to use dark goldenrod. And text decoration, we'll still have it display underline. Now, after link and visited, the next thing you're going to do is the hover. So this is when you're pointing at a link. And what I like to do with hover is I kind of make the background color dark green and the color white. So I take whatever the link color was, make it the background. That's typically what I do. So I make the color white. I do the background color, dark green. And for hover, you don't really want the underlining to show because you've got that solid background color. So the text decoration is set to none. And then the last state that you style is the active state. And this is when they're in the process of clicking on it. And usually people choose kind of bright colors for that. So we'll choose yellow. And we're still going to have the text decoration set to underline. Now, let me save this. And let's go out and reload this. Now pay attention to the first one because that is the visited color. Okay, so you can see immediately that that went to the visited color that we set, which was dark goldenrod. And you can see the hover, how it's kind of the inverse. If I click, you can see the yellow. Working on it. And then if I go back, now it's got the visited state. Okay, so as long as everything looks good, then we are pretty much done with this one. So we're going to close out of this. And the other page that we have to format is Top Rock. If you remember Top Rock, has all those internal links. And formatting pretty much works the same. Now for Top Rock, we are going to create a external CSS. So we're going to go to File and New. And we're going to name it right away so that VS Code knows it's a CSS file. This is going to go in our CSS folder, and we're going to call it rock.css. And we do need to change the file type to CSS, and we're going to click on Save. So what we're going to be changing with this is basically all of our link coloring. And then we're going to be styling the header and our H1 and also our paragraphs. So I'm going to pause the video. I'm going to key all this in, and then I will explain to you what's happening in all those changes. All right, so I've got it all keyed in. So for the link, I'm going to have Peach Puff as the color. That's going to be underlined. For visited, I've changed it to tan. It's still going to display underlined. For the hover state, I did the inverse, but because Peach Puff is so light, I made the color black. No decoration on that. And then for active, when they're clicking, it's going to be red and underlined. The header, I did constrain the width to 50%. The text will be centered within the header. I made the background color dark green. The text color then is going to be white. And there's going to be some padding, so there's going to be some space between the text and the edge. For H1, the color is Navajo white. Remember I said there's a bajillion shades of white, so this is a warmer white. I did put a little shadow on that to make the letters stand out, and I am almost doubling the size. 1.9 EM is almost double the size. And then for all of the paragraphs, I just put a little left margin in. So basically what that will do is for all of the text that's inside the paragraph, it's going to move them off the left edge. Okay, so I'm going to save the change. And I'm going to open the page. I haven't connected this yet. I want you to see what it looks like without the styling first. So let us take a look. So I'm opening in Firefox. So this is no styling. And right now you can see how all of the text in the paragraphs is right on the left edge, no color, and we're dealing with the defaults as far as the links go. Okay, so let's go back into VS Code. And we're going to go into Top Rock, and right below my opening title in my head section, I'm going to add link. Okay, so I called it rock.css. It's in the CSS folder. And this thing is a style sheet. That is the relationship. Okay, so that connects them. Let me save this. And let us go out and reload. Okay, and this is constrained because I made the header 50%. The image and all of the links are in it, and that is why you are seeing it that way. Now, if I click, you'll notice that I did have the H1 styling applied. Go back to the top. See, one thing I don't like is how that looks. I'm going to copy this. Let's paste that into Google. See, it does not display that way in Google. This is why you check in different browsers. Let's go into Edge. Do not be difficult. It's not liking that. All right, so we'll skip Edge. Let's go over here. Most of them let you do this. Interesting. It looks like Firefox is the only problem child with that. Let's see. What I would probably do is make that a little bit wider. I'm going to leave it as is, but because I don't want you guys to have to change this, but I would play around with the width and that should eventually fix that problem. Okay, but it looks fine in all of the browsers except for one. So we're going to call it done. So at this point, we've got our styling. You can close Top Rock. And we're going to learn a little bit more about style IDs and classes next.